Leo, welcome to your tarot reading. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. Either way, thank you so much for being here and thank you for sharing your energy with me. I really appreciate it. Be sure and follow on TikTok and YouTube for me so I can grow my collectives. I would really appreciate that. Go check out my website too. It's up and running. I do have personal readings if you're interested, but there's some digital products on there too about manifestation and alignment, spirituality. There's journals and manifestation, lots of resources. So go check it out. It's really cool. I'm going to do a traditional Celtic cross spread today. Whatever message comes out is the one you need to hear. And then I did bring out my Oracle deck. We'll get a couple messages from that deck at the end and kind of wrap everything up with that. So we have Six of Wands, High Priestess, Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Eight of Swords, Death card, Knight of Swords. Underneath we have the Five of Cups. So Five of Cups is about like a sadness. It's also about embracing some type of healing. So it's definitely about moving through like some kind of disappointment or sadness. There could have been a loss. Your cups are about our emotions, so this is definitely an emotional time that you're moving through. But and the loss could be different for each of you. So this could be financial loss. It could be a loss of a relationship, a person, place, thing. It'll be different for each of you. But there's just this feeling of sadness and the need to embrace healing here. Maybe just feeling let down by a situation. So the situation here is the Six of Wands. This is like a victory, a being seen. And it's also about like your self-confidence. So I feel like there's you want recognition and success, but the blockage here is the High Priestess. So I feel like you're not trusting your intuition here, and that's kind of blocking your success. You not tapping into that inner knowing and that inner wisdom. So the High Priestess is all about your intuition. It's about sacred knowledge. And I feel like that's really kind of keeping you from this success, and whatever that success is for you in whatever situation. Maybe it's about being seen. Maybe it's about your self-confidence and you're just not trusting your intuition in this victory here. Whatever that victory is for you. Maybe you're working towards getting a promotion and you're kind of you're not trusting your intuition on how to bring that into your life. You're not trusting your intuition on how to move towards it. So again, it's going to be different for each of you. So the root of this is, again, with self-confidence. The Nine of Pentacles is about your stability. It's about financial independence, your self-confidence, your worth, material security, like just being self-sufficient, financially independent. So you're wanting a victory in being financially independent. And for whatever reason, there's been some loss, or maybe kind of just feeling let down. Maybe you missed out on a promotion, you missed out on a job that you put in for, or maybe you missed out on a person or a situation, and it kind of just has you doubting your self-confidence and not trusting your intuition. In the recent past, we have the Seven of Wands. I was like, wait a minute. Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is about defending your beliefs, standing up for what you believe in, standing up for yourself, and defending yourself here. So, and it can also be about being defensive, but sometimes I feel like you kind of need to be defensive. You need to stand up for yourself and for your beliefs here. So again, with this being let down, like you felt like you had to stand up for yourself in this situation. And it didn't bring you the success that you wanted. And I feel like this has to do with your work, because in your subconscious, your higher self, we have the Eight of Pentacles here. This is about your work. This is about you mastering skills and really focusing on dedication to like one specific thing. You're committed to this thing, and you're committed to mastering this, whatever this is. So, and I feel like maybe you were focused on mastering something at work, like you felt like you had the skills, you've been working on this and then you kind of missed out on it. And I just feel like this is more of like a work situation because there are a lot of pentacles here. And I know we had the 5 of Cups, which is emotions, but when you're missing out on victories with your stability and your financial independence, that can, affect you emotionally for sure. But I feel like this is just, you're mastering a skill. And it could be maybe you decided to master a skill because you missed out on this opportunity and you thought, you know what, I'll get a certificate or I'll go back to school, whatever that was, because of that success. You're just blocking it by not trusting yourself. But in the near future, we have this new stable offer. So you have the Knight of Pentacles here. So this is a very slow moving knight. He's not the fastest, but this is like stable, secure, loyal type of energy. It's just very slow moving, but you're definitely moving into a more determined, with that 8 of Pentacles and this Knight of Pentacles. It's a very determined, very focused energy. And it's also about focusing on the long haul because, again, this is, stable and loyal, and you're really mastering this, focusing on your stability and focusing on what's going to affect you long term. So Spirit is telling you to focus on moving to calmer waters, like move on from a situation. So I feel like maybe whatever this success, what this being recognized, being seen, maybe you weren't being seen at a job and you just felt like you needed to move on to something else. And I think Spirit's kind of confirming that this is about moving to calmer water. So you could actually be leaving your job because in this card, it has someone like on a boat actually physically leaving. This could just be you mentally kind of checking out and focusing your energy elsewhere. So swords are about your thoughts. So maybe it's just time to move on from a thought process, because in your energy, the influence here is the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is limiting beliefs. This is kind of feeling trapped, feeling stuck, feeling like you can't move on to something. And it's definitely a limiting belief. And again, I feel like this is about self-confidence here. Your inner knowing, whatever, you just weren't being recognized. You weren't being seen. What's holding you back from this victory and being seen is trusting yourself and your intuition. And that has a lot to do with your self-confidence here. This is just all about your stability. So just know that you are not stuck, and these limiting beliefs are what's holding you back. That's what's keeping you stuck. You have the skills, like you've mastered these skills, and I feel like soon you're going to be moving into a new stable beginning. So you just need to realize that internally. Your hopes and fears, we have the Death card. So this could be seen as a hope or fear. You're going to take it how it resonates for you. Some of you may fear a new beginning and an ending. Some of you may be very hopeful for that, this transformation, this transition. So you've got 2 cards of transition here. This is like moving on, moving to calmer waters, but it's also like a transition. And it can be a transition in a mindset with these limiting beliefs. You may be not physically moving your job, but you may be, transitioning your mindsets and seeing things in a completely different way here. So, maybe they don't recognize your worth, but you do, because you've put in all this work and your skill set. So you put in for another job and go somewhere else. And that's where the endings and beginnings come in. Again, it'll be different for each of you. But the overall outcome, we have the Knight of Swords, which is about like taking action and, acting with ambition here, going after what it is that you do want. So I feel like you are moving on. This is like the fastest moving night. So I feel like this is going to happen pretty quickly once you do decide to move on from this. But, the Knight of Swords is about like that ambition, that determination. He's very focused. Again, with that 8 of Pentacles, you've mastered a skill and you're just very focused on what it is you want to bring in. So I really love that for you, because it's not easy to overcome mindsets, or, when we're put in a position where our self-confidence is knocked down, a lot of times it's hard to move out of that. And it's hard to see your worth when others are telling you that you don't have that skill set, And sometimes I feel like we're kind of meant to feel like we don't have a skill set, but when we do realize, people may think that, hey, you're selfish, or you're not good enough, but I feel like they're just projecting that onto you. So I love this energy. I mean, obviously don't love that you're being put down or that you feel some type of let down and that you have to stand up for yourself. And that's what this standing up for yourself and taking that action, because your skill set. And at the end of the day, if you can handle it, what you're capable of, then focus on you. Move into a new position. If people at work are telling you you're not good enough, don't just take their word for it. Maybe they're holding you back because they're jealous of your skill set. So what do they not see coming here, Spirit? What does Leo not see coming? You got the Sun card here, my favorite card. So you have joy and happiness coming. And this may not even be other people. This could just be an internal. If this is you just kind of being really hard on yourself and not having that self-confidence for whatever reason. This is just about you recognizing that you do have what it takes. Awesome. Yeah. So we have the Sun, which is, you got 3 major arcana on what you don't see coming. So it's a pretty big deal. Major arcana are like big decisions, big things, big changes. So you have the Sun here. This is all about joy, happiness. And then you have the Moon card here. So the Moon can be about like illusions, dreams. It's also about like overcoming fears. And I feel like you are moving into more joy. You've got the Sun and the Moon here, like duality. So I feel like you are overcoming fears and you are overcoming, whatever this disillusionment was for you. Like you were kind of deceiving yourself here with these limiting beliefs, but I feel like you're definitely coming out of that. You've got joy and happiness, that Moon card, and then you've got the World card, which is like completion. It is like it's like a harmony, like that, the completion. It's a fulfillment. So you definitely have like happiness, fulfillment here once you take this action. And I just feel like it's going to bring in a lot of good, like vitality, growth, abundance. The Sun's my favorite card in the whole deck, but yeah, to have the Sun and the Moon like that's just so funny to me. So it's trust again with trusting your intuition, because the Moon is all about your intuition, and you've got this joy and happiness coming in here. Just trust it, trust your intuition, trust your inner knowing, and find your fulfillment. You've got fulfillment, harmony coming in here, and the Sun's like the happiest card in the deck. So what do they need to focus on, Spirit? Actions and advice for Leo. 3 major arcanas coming in. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. So one more, please, Spirit, for Leo. And advice. Awesome. Yeah. So you've got the 10 of Wands. Like you're laying down burdens in like whatever this work situation was. This, you're sitting here thinking, you put in all this work. Was it worth it? You planted a seed and now you're kind of waiting for everything to come to fruition. Like, the perseverance, the patience, and you're laying down the burdens of that and realizing that there's joy and happiness here. You're going to find your joy. You're going to find your happiness. You're laying down these burdens and, realizing that even if you did put in a lot of effort at a job and they didn't see your worth, that's not on you. That's on them. But that's helped you kind of build your resume, build your skill set. So never see it as a loss, and I know that that's hard to do, but if you see it from a different perspective and see that, just because you work there and they didn't see your value, that's their problem, not yours. It doesn't mean you're not worthy. It just means that they didn't see it. So that the next place you go to, you can build from a fresh start and they'll see your worth, So let's see. We have Orphaned. Wow. That came out with Aries too. And then we have Poised. I feel like you're just kind of ready to go, ready to do this. So Orphaned is number 5. A sense of loss, an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in, the need to belong. uncertainty about your place. We were all meant to have connections with other people within our family, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize when being a part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well being. The issue at hand is the need to find where you fit. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you, and it's time to move on. You literally had the Six of Swords. Move on. Um, clearly you were not being seen here. Your worth was not being seen in whatever situation that was. And you felt like you constantly had to defend yourself in whatever situation this was. So I feel like this is some type of work situation. You just were not being seen for who you were. But, again, that's their loss, not yours. So poised is number 48. And I know that's easier said than done. Believe me, I've been in that situation where they just don't realize how great you are, but that's their loss, not mine. Poised, being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, and confidence. Again, that self-confidence. You can be assured that you're ready for anything right now. You know what you need to. Your skills are sharp, and you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence, and they trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. Yes, move on, do something new, and again, with that self-confidence, and people know, like, you have the skill set. You have put in this work. You have mastered these skills, and you've got a new stable beginning coming in here. But try to focus on the happiness. Try not to focus on the loss here. And I know that's hard when you're moving into something new, but if they're not seeing your worth, then it's just not worth staying anymore. Try to move on to something bigger and better is definitely coming in here for you. So I love this for you, Leo. I hope this could help and bring you some clarity, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.